Greetings. This is Pranav Guha Thakurta, founder EDU TV. Today, we have a very important guest with us in our favorite program and famous program. It's a matter of principles. We have the famous Miss Goswami, Miss Madhavi Goswami with us. She's a principal, Cambridge School, Sriniwaspuri, New Delhi. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Pleasure is all mine. And I've just read that million eyes on EDU TV. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Madhavi, ma'am. Ma'am, as you are an expert in school education and you had been teaching students for 12 years and then passing them over to the universities and then they study there. Ma'am, we would like to have your advice for students, teachers, and schools across the world, how this transition from schools to universities can be made a very convenient and made very smooth. And what is the role of the schools? What should be the roles of the school in the same? Over to you, Madhavi ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for raising up this very pertinent issue, and I think most pressing topic of this time, because children actually, it is the most important turning point in a student's life, I would say. So because a school life is very dependent kind of a thing, and when the children go to college life, it is just like autonomy they are being given. So it is very important that they should use this autonomy in a very mindful manner, in a very wise manner, because it's a decision for the lifetime. So this journey, if I say, it's a multifaceted journey. If I compare this journey to the earlier times where the student choices were limited, it was a straight road. The choices were very limited and it was predominantly decided by whatever grades a student used to achieve in class 12. And it was predetermined that whether if the child is getting the best marks, then the science, and if lower than that, then commerce, and even lower than that, then it is the humanities. But now today's landscape is offering a lot of flexibility and area of opportunity in terms of courses, in terms of university, in terms of flexibility, in terms of even the place. It is not restricted to the nation. Now the education has become global. So the challenge and opportunities both have increased. It is very important. So as a principal or as a educator, I would say, our role is to provide a toolbox to the student. All the tools might not be useful or may appear to be useful to a student in the present times. But why? Because we are preparing children for the jobs which are not conceived even today, and using the technologies which are not invented in order to solve the problems which we don't know, and we are expecting answers which might not fit when the answers are about to be implemented. So there is a lot of uncertainty, which we call as VUCA world or Bani world. VUCA means volatile, uncertain, these type of things. So when the uncertainty or the volatility is in the market, is in the landscape, so the student has to be prepared all the time. And for that, the ultimate onus or the main onus lies on the schools. So what schools can do? As we know, the school's primary focus is academic readiness, or I would say that used to be the primary focus is the academic readiness. But it is no longer true. Now, the schools are putting equal emphasis on curricular as well as the co-curricular domains. And that is very much required. Why? Because now it is not about the academic prowess. It is about the competencies. It is about the skills. As I said, because when we don't know what we are preparing for, so we can prepare ourselves best with the toolkit. And that toolkit is, I think, this is the toolkit, the competencies, the skill, the emotional intelligence, the exposure. This is what a school can do. So I would say there are challenges at the academic front, which the school needs to gap. There are challenges at awareness front. There are challenges which are socio-economic. There are challenges which are financial even at some times. And there are challenges pertaining to the bridging the gap between the theory and the real world application. So these are the main gaps which we feel, that we are every year we are churning out graduates, but still there is a shortage of skilled workforce in our industries. So why? The answer is very straight, because we are not preparing them in the reverse manner. I think we need to look at the problem in the reverse manner. What industries need to be prepared at the school level. So we cannot prepare for industries without the academic prowess, which is the school's forte, right? So academic prowess is one thing. So for bringing the academic prowess, the challenge which generally the schools face is what the children are very distracted and divided between the coaching centers, between their aspirations, between their hobbies, between their priorities. So here we need to bring the cohesion in the child's mind or a student's mind, that academic prowess cannot be achieved unless and until there is cohesiveness in the thought process of a child or the student. If the student is in for it, so first of all, we should cultivate the onus of learning, and we should throw the ball in court of students. Gone are the time where we were fond of ball as educator, and to keep that clinged to ourselves, that the teacher is supreme. So we need to get rid of that mentality and give the onus to the child. Once the child has onus, then the learning becomes smooth. So the child needs to take that onus. For that, school need to nurture or cultivate that type of a mindset of giving the independent accession to the students. So I think that is mainly required. Otherwise, the resources are plentiful. There are online tutors also. There are hybrid mode of learning also, coaching centers also. So what sets apart the school from all these entities is that the school develops a holistic human being. And the primary objective is to give that onus, give that autonomy. So why we face that difference between the structured learning and the autonomy is that we have not allowed the student to take that autonomy till the school level. If you start giving it, you'll feel the change. So that's one thing. Second thing, earlier the students were assessed on the based on their theoretical knowledge. Now when we go to the industries, there is a lack, because theoretical knowledge is theoretical. It cannot be applied in one go. You need practice of application. So that has to start early in their life from the school itself. That the role of school is to give opportunities or platforms to children so that they can apply the learned concept. And therein, the skill building also plays a major role. And now the CBSE is also going in sync with the global scenarios. So we have skill courses, we have vocational courses, we have many clubs. So these clubs, vocational courses, skill building courses, they at one point give the flexibility of learning, and at the other point, they give the autonomy in learning. Flexibility and autonomy, when given to a child, the child develops as a young adult with a intellect of her own or of his own. So that's very important. So skill building is very important. Academic rigor is very important. But how to build that rigor? It should not be imposed. It should come from the student side. So when you give that onus to the child, so academic prowess is defined to come, the skill development is bound to happen. So your role or the school's role is the facilitator, is the provider of the platforms, nothing beyond that. Otherwise, in this era, resources are plentiful. So there is no dearth of resources. So children have it all. They have access to every information, every resource, but the platform still is missing. So the school can give platform in a secured environment where children feel confident. They feel that they are in their own space. They are not being judged. So they bring their true selves to learn. And when they are totally into it, magic happens. So this is one thing, that skill development is very important. Academic onus transfer is very important. And what you as a school or we as educators can do is the goal setting of children. Inculcate the habit of goal setting in them. What goal they are setting. And the goal should be smart goals. Allow them to be specific, or guide them to be specific, be measurable goals, time bound goals, because when children are in school, there is a limited time in which they have to write their exam, they have to write university exam, so they cannot overlook these things. So the goals should be smart, they should be short term as well as the long term. And teachers and schools role is to handhold children in realizing those goals. And for that, I think customized education is very, very important, because what is missing these days till this day is we are treating class as a class. But this is not working anymore. So we need to give individualized attention, or if not possible individualized, at least tailor-made options to the group of individuals, wherein you can handhold them in setting their goals as well as realizing their goals. And taking parents in loop is also very important, because there is this saying called, it takes a village to raise a child. Who is that village? That village is school, that village is educator, that village is parent, that village is sibling, that village is friends, that village is alumni, that village is anybody who is on or off the campus. So we need to take in account of all the experiences of those who have already gone through this journey. So sometimes then we need to empower the child to pick and choose and to tailor made for himself. So first give him or her the access of all the expertise and all the experiences lived by various people in the society. So now the teacher or educator or the school is not the only entity. It should be parents also, it should be friends also, alumni also, and many other people, industry people. So there is a huge gap. Industry, academia, collaboration is very, very important. So herein the alumni can also work. So we should, as school, give our children the support of the alumni network, the peer network, the learning communities. These are the things, because our main focus should be to make them future ready, and the future which even we don't know. So first we should let go of this superiority that we know what the child should prepare for. Nobody knows what the child is preparing for or should prepare for. So the baseline is provide them with the toolkit, give them that leadership, give them that autonomy, give them that onus, and leave them free. Because all the time keeping their reins in your hand doesn't work. So that is very, very important, I think. And as schools nowadays, most of the good schools or resourceful schools are doing or taking help of career counseling and career guidance. That is very, very important. If the school is resourceful, they can afford to have a dedicated career counseling cell, nothing like that. Even if the school cannot afford to have that career counseling cell at the school level, they can have the opportunity, or they can have the various help from the various communities to get standalone career counseling or a regular interval career counseling. But having not a career counseling session for children of any sort is a sin, because now is the time of specialization has gone. Now it is the time of super specialization or micro specialization. So there are people who are micro specializing in their own fields. So this is such type of field, career counseling, in which there are experts who have gone over and beyond to explore things for children. So let them do their job. Teacher is the counselor in the classroom. Parents are counselor at the home. There are behavioral counselor. But This is a very specific role which nobody else other than career counselor can take. So schools should hire or establish their own career counseling cell, or should take help of their learning community or their network to have the best people to guide them in the career counseling area. So that is one thing which schools should adopt. And in the career counseling also, if I just factor it into various parts, so there are career exploration program wherein the students should be assessed on their potential, their aptitude, their interest, their practicability, and the feasibility of the market. So children should be given all the information, and then they should take the informed decision with the help of somebody or some entity or some organization which is skilled in doing that. So that is the career counseling cell. And they should also help children in getting their college application right. Because these days, college application has various things to do about it, like writing your application, writing your MOU, writing your proposal, writing your LOR. These are the parts of these. So I think the teachers should be trained in writing LOR, and students should be trained in their portfolio making. And portfolio making is something which doesn't happen overnight. So this is a long process which should be started right from grade 6. If not grade 6, at least from grade 9, wherein the children should be guided on developing their skills, competencies, and applying those competencies in their respective fields, and then showcasing them. And they should be allowed to think critically and to choose critical case-based questions where they can apply their minds and have the open-ended discussion, so that they can be a part of any formal discussion where they can just put words to their skills and their competency, and they can show what they know. So that's very important. Knowing is important, but showing what you know is more important than that, because school knows the student in and out, but the university or the interviewing panel or the other part where they are going, they are the newcomers for them. They don't know them. So the relationship has to build through their communication. And the communication can be verbal sometimes, but sometimes or most of the times it is written. So your written communication goes first, and then the chance of verbal communication appears. So the written communication or the presentation should be very good. So children should be guided on how to fill the application form, how to write their case. This should be there, and teachers should also be guided on how to write the LOR for the deserving students. That's also equally important. Then comes the education. Though a fair amount of budget is now being allocated on the education from the central government, but still this budget is not so good that it is giving equal opportunities to all. Still the opportunities are not equal for everybody. So maybe certain students might find it financially very burdensome to pursue higher studies. So it is also the school should also take that responsibility of guiding them how to do the financial planning, so that they can afford the university fee, or they can plan their higher education in parts. Maybe some students might like to invest more in their post graduation. Some might like to invest more in their bachelor's. So they should have the informed choices and the resources and the right material to choose from, where they should invest mindfully as per their goals, what they have set in the initial. As I said, that the first thing first is students should set the goal along with the teachers, with teachers hand holding them with all the support. So once the goal is there, everything else falls in order, because according to your goal, you would be doing the task, prioritizing tasks. Your counseling will fall in order as per that. Your financial planning will go as per your goal setting. So these all are very required. And as I said, opportunities are not always same. They might vary, or they vary for sure. So for that, sometimes children are emotionally constrained. Sometimes they are constrained. Maybe there are, after COVID, there are families which do not have the parental support. So sometimes the children are struggling with nobody at home front to guide them. So sometimes it is the emotional support in terms of human wealth. Sometimes it is emotional challenge in terms of their intellectual capabilities. Sometimes there is constraint in terms of financial capabilities. So if the child is having the human constraint, I think teachers, as we say, the school is the second home, teachers are the second parents. So they should come in front and should help the children in terms of emotional, in their emotional domain or in their emotional front. So I would like to mention here, like we can have the mentorship program, like Cambridge School is doing, the mentorship program for students, wherein the teachers and the peer mentors are there, the career counselors are working as mentors. There should be emotional support classes like socio emotional ethical learning, that is called seal classes. Again, we are practicing it here, so I can say with conviction that that helps a lot. So these kind of program like peer support program, alumni network program, mentorship program, seal program, and children are having own time is one concept wherein they are free to move around in the school, they can explore, they can go to any person they feel confident in, they feel to go to library, or besides their regular library or games field, they can go and explore what they want to do in that time. So giving that liberty and autonomy within the structured atmosphere also gives a leverage to students to take decisions in the long run. So emotional support is also very, very important. As I said, goal setting, and then after goal setting, the student support, and then the career counseling and guidance, then the emotional support, and then the real world experience. So the school is a known entity. If a student go and approach an industry, he might or might not get the positive response. But since school as an organization is quite established with a good name, if they approach industry, they are always welcoming to schools. So I think school should take the lead in making that industry academia connect and give that leverage to our student, so that they can do internship, they can do volunteering program, they can have the real world experience. And sometimes this affects their goal setting, so allow them to reiterate the complete cycle again. If they are doing internship and one goal they have set in for themselves, but suddenly they find that this is not so, which I have aspired for. The life of a CA looks very lucrative, but it is not so. The life of a doctor looks very easy and very easygoing and noble profession. But when it comes to night duties, when it comes to field job, then it is not so. So it might or it might not be a cup of tea for that student after having the flavor of that internship. So job shadowing or internship or volunteering in certain areas definitely helps setting the mind for the future goal of a student. So these are certain things that I think as a school, as teachers, as educator, we all should support our children to be future ready, and the future which is the future of VUCA world or Bani world, which even we don't know what it entails.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think like this will be helpful to all the schools across the world, the teachers, the parents, and even the career counselors. As you told, our students should be ready for the VUCA world, then hand holding, internships, job shadowing, and we have to prepare the students as for the future. And I loved your example of what is a village, school, education, parents, sibling. They are part of the village. And I'm sure this is, and plus, I also meant uh, people are missing one thing like this, what you have explained very nicely, that is a super specialization and the micro specialization. I think that is a very, very important thing that is helping people, professionals to grow. Then you told about the SOPs, LOR, essays, what the students have to write to join a university. That's very, very important because I have seen students, ma'am, because of their essays, SOPs, they have got 100% scholarship in Ivy League universities also. Thank you so much, Madhavi ma'am. I'm sure this will be helpful to everyone. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I think I forgot to bring one more point here, that the
Please,
national credit framework, that's
ma'am, please.
also going to help schools a lot. Because once the student, because this is a tendency, when we get something in return, then we are more interested in doing that. So it is a human tendency, and there is nothing wrong in it. And CBSE has rightfully tapped it by by just bringing the college, the credit framework, which is followed in colleges and universities, to the school level. And when once the student will start getting the credits for every volunteering activity they have done, every project they have done, every competition they have won, I think this will satisfy their human tendency, and more than students tendency, the parents tendency, that what you are going to gain when you are participating in the competition, or what you are going to gain when you are playing sport. Yes, with the national credit framework system, they are going to get credit for each and every act they are doing, doesn't matter the small or how big or how small it is. So now the children will start valuing what we are offering them in school system, because now everything will have a credit, and that will going to give a purpose to students and their parents. So that is that will further enhance our building that toolbox, which I just called the toolbox of skills, or the competency. So the toolbox will now get bigger and bigger, with parents supporting and the students supporting the school system. So that would be that is a gift from CBSE to all of us.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for educating us and all our viewers about the National Credit Framework. I'm sure this will also help all the students, parents, teachers, schools, and a special thank to CBSE. And thanks for letting us know, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, EDU, and thank you, Pranav, for bringing such a good platform for the viewers, and as well as for the educators, to exchange their ideas and to learn from each other.
Thank you, ma'am.